you guys. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Your attendance means more than you know.
You got it?
Yeah, all right. You can do the camera?
Alright, so we can just go ahead and go live there. Alright, so those are both ready. We'll just need somebody just to hit stop.
Yeah, great.
Stay behind the podium. When you get set up,
Okay, the podium's too far up there.
we did. Yeah.
What are you doing, Greg?
I'm looking for the Zoom. It's around the top.
Yesterday, I mean last week.
Sort of.
You know how to do this?
It's been a while, but yeah.
You know more than we do.
Okay.
We all know more than we do.
Yeah, you got it.
We think it's on.
Yeah.
And we think everything is ready other than
Yeah.
press stop at the end.
Yeah.
Well, we should just go into regular service. So I don't know if you have to. Do we usually press stop in between
Yeah.
the two?
I think we
Okay,
yeah,
I think you it's now on. So whatever you need to do to
Yes, I think we're good.
kick it, if
All
you
right,
mind.
we are going to be in 2 Corinthians again today.
Okay, I'm back.
So if you would go ahead and turn to
got it?
to 2
One of y'all got it? Yes. One of y'all needs to get it. You got it.
All right, just one more double check. We're good. Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
No, you're missing Kyle today, so this is Frank from West Virginia. Electronics not working. So before we get started, Nick, do you mind leading us on a word of prayer before we get started? Okay, we are in 2 Corinthians 10. That's what we do tonight. So 2 Corinthians 10. Before we jump into today, let's recap how we got here. I hope it was a lot better. So open for anybody. How does the book of 2 Corinthians start? How does the book start? What is Paul saying? What's that? Good, yeah. So there's this. He jumps into it, and it seems like there's this dueling themes kind of right off the bat, where there have been lots of accusations against Paul and his message, and so to start, Paul starts to defend it, but his message brings so much joy. Okay, right? So that's chapters 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here that while Paul looks to defend himself, it makes him so happy, the message and the Corinthians do, that he can control it. There is he calls it a treasure, what they're through what's available through Jesus' death for the Christians today makes him so happy. There's this treasure that we have, and then at the end of that, he starts to get back into his defense. He talks about Titus coming, and so there's this talk about the gift that Titus is going to be bringing back and forth. And now here in chapter 10, we're back fully into Paul's defense of himself and his message. Okay, all right. So let's read 2 Corinthians chapter 10 together. I, Paul, myself entreat you, by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, I who am humble when face to face with you, but bold to you when I am away. Just know that there may be a little bit of sarcasm here. Paul, it sounds like this is an accusation. So, I who am humble when face to face with you, but bold towards you when I am away. I beg of you that when I am present, I may not have to show boldness with such confidence as I count on showing against some who suspect us of walking according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ, being ready to punish every disobedience when your obedience is complete. Look at what is before your eyes. If anyone is confident that he is Christ, let him remind himself that just as he is Christ, so also are we. For even if I boast a little too much of our authority, which the Lord gave to building you up, and not for destroying you, I will not be ashamed. I do not want to appear to be frightening you with my letters. For they say, his letters are weighty and strong, but his bodily presence is weak, and his speech of no account. Let such a person understand that what we say by letter, when absent, we do when present. Not that we dare to classify or compare ourselves with some of those who are committing themselves, but when they measure themselves by one another and compare themselves with one another, they are without understanding. But we will not boast beyond limits, but we boast only with regard to the area of influence God assigned to us, to reach even to you. For we are not overextending ourselves, as we did not reach you, for we were the first to come all the way to you with the gospel of Christ. We do not boast beyond limit in the labors of others, but our hope is that as your faith increases, our area of influence among you may be greatly enlarged, so that we may preach the gospel in lands beyond you, without boasting of work already done in other areas of influence. Let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. For it is not the one who commends himself who is approved, but the one whom the Lord commends. All right. So, reading this chapter, all told, we are really going to dive into the second half of this chapter, but what stands out to you, just overall themes from this whole chapter to start out with? Right? You can tell right away that he doesn't like doing this, but it's something that has to be done. Yeah, we see that a lot here. What else? Yeah, right. Yeah. There's definitely some selective choosing of what to focus on here. Absolutely. What else? That's right, and that is rooted in Old Testament teaching. We will get there towards the end of it, but that seems to be one of the core themes for this that Paul builds off of for here to set up what the focus actually should be in all of this. All right, what else? Isn't it interesting how he frames that, right? So he takes this, uses this metaphor to show that a lot of this stuff, it seems kind of silly, right? Maybe he doesn't look at his speeches and all this, and in reality, this is the battle that's being fought, not that. So that's really interesting. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You think I'm scared of doing especially things like those.
Yeah, right.
But there's even ancient time to say about them.
Right. Okay. All right. So the first 6-7 verses here, okay, he kind of uses these attacks and kind of twists that, not twisting that kind of word, but he uses that to build this metaphor and these pictures of what really is going on, and what really Paul and the people with Paul are doing in all of this. So we see this in Paul over and over again, that there may be these personal attacks, but he very quickly uses that as a teaching moment, as a preaching moment. And he's able to then turn this and say, here is the big picture. Don't forget about this. All of these other things seem so silly in light of what is going on there. So then we start back up, and let's see, if somebody could read again, specifically 7 through 12, verses 7 through 12, and we'll start to dive into these. Yeah. Look at what is before your eyes. We just got talking about what's going on, maybe beyond the scenes. All right. And so finally he says 5. Now let's dive into this, into these attacks. Okay. So what does this mean? What does verse 7 mean? Okay? It is tough to understand and break down Paul's words at times. Okay? Peter tells us that too, right? So it can be tough. So what does verse 7 mean? What is another way of saying verse 7? Good, yeah. Yeah.
I think he's making it clear. First, you're looking at the surface of things. That's his first statement. You look at the outward appearance, and we know God is in heart. Then he also says, would you consider us not Christian? That's where you're really looking for. You think I'm not a Christian? And that is a way to build the argument strong. But he's the one that established it. So he's not a Christian, and you're not.
Well, yeah. That's, yeah.
I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to go through that.
This concept that there are warring factions is crazy. That's the fault. Like, if somebody else is coming, like, we all are. We're all together. We're on the team. Which then gets to, it's not always just so cut and dry, right? It's not going to be always that when people come to talk about God's word, everybody's going to see exactly the same, and that everybody is going to, it's going to be perfect. Okay, so the key thing for today that I want us to take out from this is how can we use this today? All right, because this book wasn't just given to us for us to say, oh, yeah, Paul's in trouble, he needs to defend himself, right? That wasn't it, right? That wasn't the only thing. Okay, we still have this, so that it can help us work through situations like this today. Right? It still happens, right? Okay, and I think we've all seen this in churches throughout our history that there are unfortunate splits, there are accusations, there are so let's use this to build off of what we can use today. So the first principle from Paul here is we're on the same team. Okay? We need to be on the same team first. Alright? Okay, so then for verse 8, what does verse 8 mean? Now I want to give some twisting of accusations here. So, yes. Good. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, verse 8. For even if I boast a little too much of our authority, which the Lord gave for building you up and not for destroying you, I will not be ashamed. Okay? What's happening here?
It's almost a humble brag. He's trying to be politely and softly say, I have this authority. Christ gave this authority. You should listen to me. Without coming out and saying,
This seems to be a direct attack, right? That he's holding this over, and he says, actually, God told me to do this.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
And you say,
But he also, he said, yes, I am.
you're
Yeah.
not ashamed of it.
And that's right. Yeah, because he's been given it directly by God.
And Paul being a temple because he knows that authority comes from his grace.
Good.
God has given them, knows pretty well who he was and what he did.
Absolutely, yeah. That's really good.
And there are people that are mocking him or basically lesser versions of what he himself was.
Yes, good. Hold on to that thought. We're gonna come back to that as well. All right. So now verses 9 and 10 and 11. Okay. So I do not want to appear to be frightening you with my letters, for they say his letters are weighty and strong, but his bodily presence is weak, and his speech of no account. Let such a person understand that what we say by letter when absent, we do when present. Okay. Well, what is this group of verses here? Head on. Yep. This seems to very much be an attack. That he'll when he's not here, he'll attack you. Like he'll come on. He's mean. He's all this. But when he gets to the verses, he doesn't really do this, right? He doesn't really stand by this. He's not going to actually stand up and say these things to your face, right? Also, absolutely not. What's that?
Wait and see.
Yeah. There is a piece of that too you can feel here. Okay, so in verse 12, not that we dare to classify or compare ourselves with some of those who are committing themselves, but when they measure themselves by one another and compare themselves by one another, they are without understanding. Okay. So, building off what we've gotten to here, how does this verse fit in? Good. Yep. So it definitely feels like Paul is getting to, he's already kind of a couple times said, here's the bigger picture. It seems like maybe he's saying here, you want to know what's really going on behind a lot of these accusations is what we're seeing here now.
You get back to the first Corinthians 3:6. Some say, I'm of Paul, I'm of Apollos, I'm of Cephas, I'm of Christ. We're already, the nature of the Corinthians is to look for people that they follow and latch on to, and act like that voice is better than the other voices. They're saying the same thing. Or in this case, they're not saying the same thing. These are the enemies coming in, trying to get the same traction that Paul got when he started, but use it to go in a different direction than Paul would go.
It seems here that there is some sort of a like the people that are attacking him, that by comparing themselves to Paul and others and making themselves out to be better is part of what's going on in some of this, and under the guise of Christianity, right? Who will teach us about this and to stay away from this, right? Who else? Where does Paul potentially get this principle from? Who directly says to watch out for religious folks looking to make themselves look better? Correct. Okay, Matthew 6, Sermon on the Mount, several times, a couple different things. Giving, praying, things like that say, hey, watch out for this, because we can drift into making ourselves look good from this, and if that's all that you're looking for, that's all you're need. Yeah. So, yeah.
Chapter 7, beware of false teachers. When it comes to sheep clothing, also, you'll know them by their fruits. I'll use, I'm sure, that same teaching to understand how to deal with those who.
Yes. And so part of this, so going back to how do we use this today, it should not be impossible for us to see if this is happening. If we see these in conflicts and we see people that are taking direct attacks on other people that compare themselves and make themselves out to look, this should be a red flag for us when we see these type of conflicts today. Yes.
That also,
Good, great point, because we definitely see that Paul is using God's words throughout the history to make his cases. And let's get right into that, okay? So, if somebody could read now verses 13 through 18, the rest of the chapter. Timothy 13 through 18.
We, however, will not boast beyond measure, but we can live in the spirit which God appointed. The fear which is connected with you. We are not overextending ourselves to go our way through it. But once you do, things not will come. Not boasting of things beyond measure, that is intelligent. But having hope, that as you faith in you, you shall have waited for the faith in the spirit. Preach the gospel moves beyond nothing. And not because another one.
What stands out to me now in this group of verses, context here.
Interesting that all these things. It's helpful to get perspective that the world doesn't revolve around reading about old situations. And all of this, you're a portion of a much larger thing. Yes. And puts my little squabbles in perspective that the real reality is much bigger than you think at all.
Yeah, great. So let's build on that here. What is Paul trying to say in that portion here? What is he trying to first of all hit?
He didn't come comparing himself with others to keep his authority established. He came preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, the authority over all, and saying, I'm going to follow him, and here's what he told me to tell you. And that's a huge claim. To be able to say, Jesus told me to tell you this, is a claim that these guys can't make.
Good.
He does make. And he said, I brought the gospel to you, and I'm not going to go beyond what I have experienced. They are, in other words, they're way off track.
Yeah. So that is definitely the foundation there for Paul being able to make these claims, right? That is the start there. And so he said that leads him right into, we came to you first. We were told we came to you for this message. But was this the end game for Paul? Yeah. Yeah. So he's hoping, right, that he comes to the Corinthians, and this is blueprint for a lot of his work, right? He comes to them, he worships with them, he trains them, he builds them up, and then he leaves. And then those groups, those churches, then reach out to the area as well, so that their influence is seen in the community, and then all can go on with other ones. Right?
Truly trust the people of God. That's a really great thing about it. He says that to the Ephesian elders in chapter 20 Acts. I trust you in the Lord. The word of his grace. So he's willing to go, teach, and trust God with these people. And these folks, the false teachers come in, and they're trying to disrupt that which he has built. And Paul's seemingly concerned about it. But he still goes back to the very main thing. This is the way it works. He calls it back to the very foundation that he started on. And he said, I came to you hoping this would just spread. In fact, the purpose was to go from you, bless you, and make this whole thing go. I'm a seed sower. They evidently are looking at those false teachers coming in and somehow impressed by them or being distracted from the very purpose they were established.
Yeah. If it was always supposed to be that Paul or one of the apostles was supposed to stay with one group forever, how would that work? Obviously, we have big problems there, right? That's the case. So this was always the design, that they would go, which means, well, what does that mean for us today? What does this mean for us today? It gets in the way of doing what the churches are meant to be doing. Right.
attending church, not just receiving church. But,
A common linguistic tactic is appeal to authority. Trying to quote someone famous historically or not completely, give yourself up there, give yourself away to authority. And Paul, the only one he will do that, only authority he'll do is your God. Beyond that, he'll boast of his own